Hey foodies, welcome to Cooking Shooking. Today we are going to make this cafe style crispy veg kulcha recipe. This is a recipe inspired from the Cafe Coffee Day store, and as with the name, we are making a fluffy kulcha with a crispy cutlet and a fresh dressing. Overall, it's a great package for a party. Try it out and share your feedback. For now, you have to watch the recipe. So for the crispy veg kulcha, first we will make the dough, after that we will make the crispy cutlet. So for the soft and fluffy kulchas, here I have taken a bowl. In this half a cup of hot water. Quickly we will add the sugar into this. I am taking 2 teaspoons of sugar and we will dissolve it together by mixing with a spoon. Right now we are making a kulcha recipe using yeast. If you want to make it without yeast, it is totally possible. I will share the recipe for that down below. So here I am taking 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. We will mix it together and let it rest for about 10 minutes. Sometimes it can get ready quickly also. It took me about 3 minutes or so. Now we will add the maida into it. Right now this is 2 cups of plain flour or maida, which is around 250 grams or so, 2 tablespoons of milk powder. This will ensure, milk powder will ensure our kulcha is soft because it is basically a tenderizer. We will also add a little bit of coriander, fresh coriander and salt, which is as per taste. Around 1 teaspoon should be fine. Now we will make a dough out of this. Try to bring it together guys and you should be fine. I have brought it together and kneaded it for a minute. Now we will take a little bit of butter. It is actually 10 grams of butter or 2 teaspoons of butter, and we will mix it together. Butter will also make our kulcha soft because it is also a tenderizer. You will notice after about a minute or so, this will start to tear. Butter will tear the gluten, which will ensure our kulcha is soft. See right now how the gluten is tearing, or basically the dough is tearing. This is great. We will just knead it for 1 more minute and then we will let it rest for about 10 minutes or so. 10 or 15 minutes should be fine. We don't want to overproof the dough because otherwise the kulcha will be sour. So the dough is looking smooth and pliable. Now we will cover it with a cloth and then let it rest for about 15 minutes or so. In that time, we will prepare the things for cutlet. We will prepare the poha at first. Here I am taking half a cup of poha. Just place it in a mixing bowl and we will add some water to it and then soak it for about 3-4 minutes. If the water that you have added is getting very dirty, then you can wash the poha a couple of times. After that, soak it until it is soft like this. Once it is soft, you can take a strainer and then strain it. Try to get rid of as much water as possible because we are using poha to bring binding into the cutlet, and if the poha is only wet, then how we will get the binding? It will make our cutlet very rigid guys, so for that try to squeeze off the extra water. After that you can take a kadhai. In that take about 1 tablespoon of oil. As the oil gets hot, we will add the garlic into it. Here I am taking 3 cloves of garlic which are finely chopped. Along with that 1 green chili which is again finely chopped. I am also taking about 1 teaspoon of chili flakes. Now we will cook them together for about 10 seconds. No overcooking guys, we will add the onions into it. Here I am taking 1 small onion which is chopped. Cook it for like 10 seconds again and then we will add the remaining vegetables. This is half a capsicum. I am also taking half a carrot and a handful of peas and corn. All of them add it in, mix it well, and we will have to cook them until they are soft. If they are not soft, then we will face a problem while shaping them and cooking them. So just cook them until they are soft. To fasten that process, you can add the salt and the remaining masalas into it. Here I am taking salt which is as per taste, half a teaspoon of red chili powder, 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, half a teaspoon of garam masala. I am also taking a little bit of pepper powder for that extra spicy taste, and about half a teaspoon of kasuri methi. This will bring a very nice flavor. So all of these masalas have to be roasted and the vegetables have to be cooked. So mix it well and cook it for 2 minutes or so. If the masalas are burning, then you can quickly add the poha like I am adding right now, and then we will cook it well. Just ensure the poha is not identifiable, so you have to cook it well and it should get the color of the cutlet. Shouldn't remain white guys, so this is looking great after cooking for about 1 more minute. I forgot to add the coriander leaves, so here is about 2 tablespoons of fresh coriander. Mix it through. and then we will use a masher to break the particle size. I mean, we want to ensure the vegetables are not very strong, otherwise the cutlet will break very easily while we shape it. So use a potato masher or the back of your spoon and then try to mash it really well. Even the poha shape shouldn't be identifiable. As I'm mashing the poha and the vegetables, I thought to add the potatoes into it as well, because the potatoes that I have mashed aren't also mashed very well. So add the potatoes, mix it well. These are 3 medium sized potatoes which are boiled, peeled and mashed. I will mix it through once. After that, use a potato masher and then mash it together. At the end, we need a potato mixture which should look something like this. It shouldn't be very wet or moist, should be slightly dry, and this is looking great. So let me take this out into a plate. After that, we will let it cool down for about 10-15 minutes. In that time, we will prepare the kulchas. So here you can see how in about 15 to 20 minutes or so the dough has started to prove. So this is looking great. Now let me divide the dough portion into smaller kulchas. With this recipe, you can easily make 6 to 7 pieces of kulchas. So for shaping the kulchas, you can use a rolling board or a chakla like I am doing right now, and then dust some plain flour or maida, use a balin and then roll it into a oblong shape. Like we do it for samosa, we have to do the same thing right now. If you are not aware of how to make a samosa, then you can watch my video for that also. Basically, this is a egg kind of a shape. Instead of making it round, you have to make it oblong. So this is the shape that we were after, oblong shape, looking good. Now if you want to make the kulcha right now, you can do it, not a problem. But if you want to have the best result like I am doing, for that you have to prove it. So in a plate or a tray, sprinkle a little bit of dry flour, place the kulcha, cover with a cloth and let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. This is the same step that we do for bread, which will ensure our kulchas are super fluffy. We will not waste any time. While the kulchas are resting, let's make the Thousand Island dressing. For that, you can take a mixing bowl and about half a cup of mayonnaise. This is eggless mayonnaise. If you want to make less, then you can use less, not a problem. Along with the mayonnaise, I am taking about 1 teaspoon of paprika. Instead of paprika, degi mirch can be used. I'm also taking about 2 tablespoons of tomato ketchup. This is very important right now. And I'm taking about 4 tablespoons of chopped cucumber. That's right, this is finely chopped cucumber. Cucumber will add a fresh bite to our kulchas. It is necessary to use it. If you don't want to use it, then you can use the American gherkins pickle. That will also bring a very similar taste. I'm also taking a little bit of onions and then we will mix it together. This is not authentic by any means, but very similar to Thousand Island dressing. We will get a very nice taste in the kulcha, crispy, creamy and fresh. So this is done after you mix it, looking great. Now we will shape the cutlets for making the kulchas. So here the potato mixture is cooled down. You can divide it into 6 portions. These are round balls right now. We will have to flatten them into cutlets. So for that, take your palm, press it down, and then the edges can have cracks. So try to make them even. You can see how I'm using my thumb to press them to make them even. Don't make them too thick because we will make a coating and that will get even thicker. So a thin cutlet is fine. We will just take one kulcha. You can cook it for a few seconds in a tawa. After that, try to judge the shape of the cutlet, because if the cutlet is small and the kulcha is big, it wouldn't be nice, and otherwise also it will be a problem. That looks slightly weird. Taste wise it will be good. So for me this kulcha and the cutlet is looking good. So these are done. I will make all of them similarly and then we will proceed to the next step of making the batter for making the kulcha, the cutlets, super crispy. So in this mixing bowl I have taken 1/4 cup of maida and same quantity of cornstarch. We will use water to make a medium thick batter. It shouldn't be very thin, otherwise it will be a problem. So medium thick batter will ensure breadcrumbs are well stuck to the cutlet. After the batter is viscous like this and thick like this, we will take one cutlet, dip it inside carefully and then we will coat it with some breadcrumbs. This is 4 mm panko breadcrumbs. Most of the restaurants use this for making the cutlets and most of the tikki is super crispy. You can also use regular regular breadcrumbs and you should be fine. For making the breadcrumbs, you can toast some bread, lightly toast it and place it inside a blender jar and then grind it into crumbs. After that, the process is simple. Try to coat it from all the sides evenly. So guys, this process is also done. I mean, the cutlets are also ready. Because we made a medium thick batter, you don't have to coat it again. So we will get a crispy cutlet with just one coating. All of the 6 cutlets I have made. Now we will proceed to the next step of making the kulcha. For that you can take a frying pan or a tawa. Iron tawa will also be fine, but I will recommend non-stick for better cooking. So in low flame we will place the kulcha in here and cover with a lid, and we will cook it for about 1 minute. I mean less than 1 minute. After that we will flip it. You can see how I have not brought any color, just cooked it for about 50 seconds or so and then flipped it. I've made these kulchas in a iron tawa also, that is also fine, but just that they get slightly more color in a iron tawa. So after the kulcha is done from both the sides, you can take it out into a plate and then try to cover that with a wet cloth. That will ensure the kulcha stays soft for a longer time. Similarly, we will prepare all of the kulchas, and you can prepare the kulchas and the cutlets till this step one day before also, and then you can make it for a party as you want to. Now this is the assembling part guys. For that you have to heat up some oil for frying the cutlets. You can also cook the cutlets in an oven at 250 degrees centigrade. That's right, the highest temperature in the oven until they are golden. So here the oil is also super hot. We will cook them for about 2 minutes or so, or until they are deep golden in color. So the cutlets are crispy now and they are golden also. We will take them out into a plate. I have placed some tissue paper below so that the extra oil can come out. These are done. I have sliced some onions also. We will place it. We prepared the Thousand Island dressing also, that is also ready, and the kulchas we made, that is also done. So now we will take 2 kulchas, place it here. On top of our kulcha we will apply about 2 tablespoons of our Thousand Island dressing and then spread it. If you want to make it the exact cafe style, then you can apply only the bottom area, but if you want to make it the next level taste thing, then you can apply the top area also. Trust me guys, it will get even more fresher and tastier. So apply it in all of the areas. After that you can take a little bit of sliced onion and then place it here. If you don't like the sharp taste of onions, then you can soak it in some cold water for about 10 minutes before placing it like this. On top of the onions, we will place our cutlets and then cover it. The recipe is not yet done. The kulcha is ready, the cutlet is ready, but we will have to toast them. For toasting it, here I have the same frying pan. In here we will take about 1 tablespoon of butter and about 1 teaspoon of coriander leaves. Melt the butter. We don't want to cook the coriander leaves. Melt it a little bit. After that, place the kulchas and then cook them until they are light golden. 1 minute on both sides and they will be done. So here we have our crispy veg kulcha which is ready. Overall you might find it very similar to chatpata aloo naan that we made earlier, but the taste is slightly different. This is much more softer and fluffier, as you can see right now. The cutlet is also much more crispier compared to the chatpata aloo naan. So overall you will totally enjoy this recipe guys because of the contrast in taste and textures. So guys, that was my recipe for the cafe coffee day style crispy veg kulcha. Try it out and share your feedback as I shared earlier. And the recipe is amazing, just that it will take slightly more time to make it. Anyways, try it out and let me know. Hope to see you soon with one more video. Bye, take care, happy cooking.